Hello, everybody. Corey here. So, I'm going to do the monthly review here of the distributions and where we're at on total return. I did make the header a little bit smaller so you can't see a lot of those titles there, but we'll go over this. And, it's the same thing that we've been doing here. Sorry, I just saw some color codes. There we go. Not matching. Oh, and then I realized I actually can't do that because I pasted values because I was having issues with Google wanting to pull in the data. So then I had to copy and paste values for the stocks and different things. So I guess we just won't have that color code on Yieldmax at the bottom, which means also I won't be showing. I've been adding a couple of other things to this, and I think that's sort of what's made these get pushed off, because then I'd be like, oh, well, I got to do this first and I got to do that. And I think it's just easier, I guess, if I can split some of those up. But I won't be able to do the couple of extra spreadsheets that I have been doing recently because Google's not wanting to pull that data in right now. So we'll worry about that later. So today we'll just go over this spreadsheet. So in column B, it's just the current stock price as of today. Of course, we know tomorrow, or actually it's already that day, but July 5th, that these stocks will drop by the distribution amount. But this is where we were at close on Thursday. Then in the next column here, this is just the average. If it takes all of the distributions that the ETF has already had, then this would be the average. Of course, some of these like Tesla that have been been here a long time and used to do great, obviously they're going to have a high average, but doesn't necessarily reflect what it's currently being paid. So just be careful with ones like that. So you can see here $1.26, and I don't remember why I made this red. There's got to be a reason. I just don't remember. But yeah, so this is our average. And then, of course, to add to that, this would just be our average monthly percentage. And then this is overall annual average with the annual yield. And then this is just a ranking. So if we wanted to see the highest, we could see here, right? Misty at an average of 132%, with Coney being 106%. I'm not sure why Alti. It looks like all the numbers are actually messed up. So let me fix that real quick. All right. Just the rankings and stuff were off, so I had to fix that. There we go. All right. So here we go. So Misty 132%, Coney 106, along with Alti, or 107, however you want to look at it, IWMY 95, and YBIT being 88% there. So, some of these you have to take with a grain of salt. Misty's only been out about 3 months. Alti, it's only been out a few months, and we know that. Of course, this is just the yield, so we're not looking at the stock price here or anything, but we know how that one's been going. Then IWMY and then YBIT also being new here. And then, of course, Tesla not paying out as much as it has been, with the exception of this month, was actually pretty decent. So anyway, that just gives you an idea if we're looking only at the average. And sorry, I just realized I unfiltered Yieldmax. So let me, when I did that. And then I don't know why the rest of those at the bottom happened. So I apologize. So now that we're just looking at the Yieldmax ones, I'm sorry, I have all the rest of those. You can see some of those numbers will be skipped, but that's because they're assigned to a different one. So I didn't even think about it when I said IWMY in there being number 4. But anyway, you can see how all these rank. Of course, Abney is the bottom because it hasn't paid a distribution yet. But that's just to give you an idea of the average. I don't even know what I just did. Okay. We're going to sort these back in alphabetical order, and then we're going to look at the distributions. So this is all of the distributions here. Of course, we don't have all TYMAG and YMAX until mid-month, and this is what happened last month. I waited to do this until after mid-month, and then of course I didn't get to do it because of New York. And that's where I'm struggling with the, two different periods, because we have the ones with the distribution at the first of the month and one at the mid-month, which is why now I'm thinking maybe I need to do 2 a month updates versus just the one. I don't know. Y'all can let me know what you think. I know I've been thinking about it for a few months now, but anyway, so this is what I love. I love the color code here. I don't know about most of you, but just looking at the color code, look at July. We have a lot of red here. I know you can't see the top of these, but before, let's see, where's my little pointer? There we go. So this right here is the line. So this is all 2023, and then we start into 2024. I don't know why you can see these and not see these, but obviously January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay. But this is what I'm looking at. See all this red? It just, what it's doing is line by line, it's looking at these and it's color coding it based on the distributions, right? So if we look at AIYY, we have green here at the $1.35 because it's the biggest distribution it has. And then the lowest has been in the 40s, so that's why those are red. So if you look at this right here, we have a lot of these that have either paid their lowest distribution or it was just really, really low. So if we look up here, 40 cents is the lowest distribution for AIYY. And then we have a really red here, but Crash has only had 2 payments, so I'm not too concerned about that. But then when we go down, which one is this one? JPMO. So the lowest distribution there is 20 cents. It paid out 22. Murney's only paying out 49 cents, but the lowest was 41. So this is the next lowest payment. That was the first one. And then we have MSFO. Its lowest was 28 cents, but its next lowest was 38 cents, and that's what it paid this month. Of course, Misty's only had 4 months, but it's paying its lowest distribution at 2.33. And then we go to Nestle. It's red also at 38 cents, and that is actually the lowest it's ever paid, that 38 cents there. And then if we go down to OARC, 25 cents. So the lowest it's paid is 24, and it's paying out 25, so it's just 1 cent off. PayPay's only paying 43 cents. Again, lowest distribution being paid. The next red down here, we have Zomo at 19 cents, lowest distribution paid. And then YBit's only had 2 months here, so, that one's low. But that's lots of red. Now, let's look at some of these green ones. So we do have AMSI here, a little bit green at 77 cents, so it's a little less than the last couple of months. But it would be the third highest looking at overall, because the last 2 months have actually been pretty high. And then GDXY down here, of course, that's the first month, so it's going to be green. And then NVD 247, so that's in line with 3 of the past 4 months. I don't know if they're just trying to keep that up, and they can with NVD stock price being up. They can do that regardless if they, earn that amount or not. It's sort of like everybody's expecting around that dollar amount of the 250, 260s now. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, Snowy, that's the first distribution. So of course that's green. So if we take out the couple with the first distributions, your only really high one is going to be in VD. You'd have a little, like I said, a little bit of green with AMSI. But most of this month, a lot of these are paying their lowest distributions ever. Now, if you go back, I don't know if you watched the Days to Recovery video, but on that video, it showed the worst months have been April, May, and June. We haven't gotten to, obviously, trying to recover July's distribution yet because it hasn't even happened. So, but yeah, April was really bad. I think it was worst at only 30-something% recovered their distributions. And then for June, only 30-something%. And May was like 60-something%. So the last 3 months were really bad. Of course, I'm looking here in May, a lot of these are fairly green on their payouts. We were sort of yellow in June. There was a few with higher payouts, but we were sort of in the middle range. But July, you can tell here with all those reds that we were really low on those payouts. So anyway, that's why I like this color code, that it gives you an idea. You can quickly see some of these. Like if we go back here to February, that was a bad month for us. Look at, we had quite a bit of red there as well. But anyway, we'll move on. And then, of course, this is just my hidden data. Normally, it gives me the, the sum, the number of months, the average, which we've already seen. And then we have our lowest dividend paid, highest dividend paid, lowest percentage, and highest percentage. So those are usually just some hidden columns that I have in there. And then these are the actual yields. If you'd like to see the yields here, we can see, Misty at 101, NVIDIA 101, YBet 83, Coney 90. So we have quite a bit of big ones. We also had some small ones, which was, a little odd with some of these, like 13% JPMO and Zomo there. So those were really low. So anyway, these were just the yields that I put on there that are also color code. I could take out the 0 months. Those are just the months that didn't actually pay anything. But it was, already out. So then we go to the end here where we're trying to see, overall, if we were looking at the stock price and the distributions, trying to look at that total return. So let's just look at, we won't look at the first line because Abney hasn't paid a distribution yet. But if we look at AIYY, the first line, so it's paid here, it looks like 7 months. The stock price started at $19.75 when it opened. It's currently $11.74. And let's see, I should have this up on my computer. I think the next one are the total distributions. Yeah, total distributions paid. So in this case, it was $5.22. And then it does our total return for us here. And we're looking at negative, $2.79 for AIYY, which the return at this point is negative 14%, and it's ranking 24 out of these, which then makes me wonder, should I check the rankings on these? Just because I know we had issues with the other ones when we add, we add new ones. So this one looks like it's fine, because it starts at 2 and goes to 102, and we got 50 something. So yeah, let me get off that one. There we go. So right now it's in alphabetical order, but let's sort this by ranking. And see, when I do that, it's like the ranking's messed up. All right, so let me check the ranking for sure here. All right, I don't know what happened to the ranking, but now I've got it fixed. And I'm trying to sort it here. I guess I should have sorted on my computer. Try to zoom back in so you can see everything. Okay. Now, it's sort of like the other one. We're going to be missing some rankings because I do have, other ETFs on here, and they fall in there. So, just looking here at the Yieldmax. Now, again, now we're looking at total return since inception. So remember, the start date is the day it opened, the price it opened at, okay? And then we have the current with the total distributions, and then we have our total return dollar-wise, and then percentage-wise, and then the ranking. So we can see NVIDIA here. I don't know, where's my little pointer, but you can see, there it is. Sorry, but then you can't see those screens. So we have NVIDIA here, 145%, ranking number 1. Coney, 94%, ranking 2. Misty, 93%, ranking 3. With AMZ, at 48%, ranking 4. So it's $2.50 above. It's paid $7.20. So it's, returned. Total return is $9.68, which is 48%, ranking number 4. Then 6 through 8 are yellow ones here. We have Squee at 40%, Phoebe at 40%, and MSFO at 39%. So you can see the rest of these if we just, you scroll down through here. The ones with the negatives at the bottom, Zomo, it's just barely negative, 6 cents. Ulti, negative $1.76. AIYY down 2.79, and Crash down $4.13, or negative 20%. And then if you're curious, what were those other ones? What are the other rankings in there? Let's just look, because I know I don't know. So let's just do this. I got to resort it. So we can see which ones we're missing. So number 5 there, that we were missing here, that was the Curve, NFLP. It's at ranking number 5. And then we have Goop and AMZP, 2 of the other curves there, ranking at that 9 and 10. And then, in case you're curious, we have GPIQ and GPIX. We have them at 12 and 13. FEPI's at 15. So anyway, you can see a few more of those that I have on this sheet if you're curious. Just looking at the bottom. I haven't looked at these before, so I'm just curious myself here. And then I have other ones over there I don't really have the data here for, but anyway, just in case, again, you were curious of what was in there. I'm trying to undo it. I guess it won't let me do it here because I did it on my computer. We'll filter all that back. All right. So that's what we look like there. I'm going to put this back in alphabetical order. And over here on the right, and I know I have another monthly tab and I didn't even use it. There was something else that I normally show. Yeah, it's the same thing. I just have it in a different place for some reason. But here, well, I don't want to zoom in too much because then you can't see everything on one screen. Of course, I honestly don't know if you can even see it on the iPhone, so I apologize if you're having issues. Sorry, I'm trying to get it all in there as much as possible. Okay, so looking all the way over to the right, and that's things irritating. This is just a couple of other things that I have on here. Nothing, too important. But that first one is, it's just looking at the last dividend to the average. So in the example of AIYY, we're looking at the average versus the current. It's actually, the current one's 35 cents less than the average. So if we look down at the green one, NVIDIA, it's actually $1.14 more than the average. And then Ulti at the bottom, it's actually, it says negative $1.22. But that's Ulti YMAG, and YMAX haven't paid out this month. So those aren't even going to be accurate for them. Because they don't have a distribution listed yet, which is why those are just negative the amount of the previous distribution. And then the next month is just looking at the previous 2 months and looking at the difference. Did the distribution go up or down? And if you look at most of those, they mostly went down. We see lots of negatives until we get to Phoebe, and it was up 1 cent. And then we have Tesla, or Tesla being at 36 cents. So other than those two, all the distributions were actually down from the previous month. So, and then, which then reminds me, I need to go back and look at, I know that my distribution estimate worksheet didn't have all of the premium stuff in there because I was on the trip, so they might have been a little bit lower, but I am curious to what was paid versus those, and I know I haven't done that follow-up video either. But anyway, I just wanted to get this out because I know I missed doing it last month, and I didn't want to try to wait till mid-month again and then forget, or not have the time to do it. So anyway, I hope y'all got something out of here, whether it's the total return or, looking at the distributions. This is my favorite thing. Looking at the color code, I can easily see again that July wasn't such a great month. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed something, at least one part of this, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.